Gracias, licenciada Monterroso.
I was asked to say a few words to you today in this day of great honor. Let me start with the good news. First, I think all of you can expect to live much longer than your parents or grandparents. So the world you're growing up in, I think on average you will live to 97 or 100 years old. This is fantastic news. We are now at a time where advances in science and biomedicine are just incredible. And if you're, say, 22 today, you have another 50 or 60 years of those advances to benefit from. So that's the good news. Now let me get to the bad news. First, you will need to save more. That's okay. You would rather live longer. Second, and more importantly, you will need to be more flexible. You will live through multiple eras of mankind, through different times. If I think of my life, I feel I've lived in two different worlds. The world before computers were important, and then the world of computers. Most people on this earth have only lived through one era. They had no capitalism, so they lived through subsistence agriculture. And for them, the most important concepts were la milpa, la cosecha. But in your lives, you will live through, I think, 3 or 4 different eras of mankind, because there will be so much progress. And you all will be the first generation ever to live through 3 or 4 different eras. At times that will be confusing or disorienting, but it is actually an enormous privilege. Now this brings me back to Francisco Marroquín, the school. That's why we're all here. You have to ask yourself, if you are going to live through 3 or 4 very different eras of mankind, what do you need from your education? If you need in your life to be more flexible, what is it you want to have learned at university? And I think the answer is clear, and I think it's very well understood by the school, Francisco Marroquín. What you want most of all is a principles-based education, because no one can teach you all of the details of your life 30 years from now, 50 years from now, but they can teach you principles. Now, I have never been a student here, but I have given talks at Marroquín, I have taught some classes, and I very much have the sense that if you come here to study, you receive this principles-based education more than any other school I know. And I include the United States in that. Just think about that, more than any other school. Just to mention a few of these principles. First, the idea of freedom and liberty in multiple forms. Individual freedom, economic freedom, political freedom, and also religious freedom. And along with freedom comes responsibility. These are not the only principles, but they're some of the most important ones. And they are ones that you learn at Francisco Marroquín. I have a confession to make. This is the first graduation of mine. You know, they gave me this award. For me, it's a great honor, very kind. The first graduation of mine I've ever gone to. Before, I never thought it was important enough. So when I got my PhD from Harvard, that's now 1987, I didn't go. I was like, I'm busy, you know. But I am here today because I think this is the best version of a principles-based education that I know. So I hope you are all suitably honored to be graduates and to have studied here. Think of me now with this honorary professorship. I have joined your ranks. It is a great honor for me to be affiliated with you all, to be connected with you all, and I hope to see you all again in Guatemala in the near future. Gracias.